Welcome to the Wyoming State Library tutorial, Summer Under the Stars. The Collaborative Summer Library Program theme is Universe of Stories. Organizations and vendors have joined in with amazing added content. Universe of Stories, Summer Under the Stars, Summer of Space, Apollo 11 Moon Landing. Wyoming State Library has created a LibGuide to be a landing page for these resources that you can use for summer reading and all year for science programs. From the GoWild.net page, link to research guides and tutorials. That will take you to our LibGuide page. These are listed by subject, so you'll want to go to All Guides and scroll down to Summer Reading. The first section of this Summer Reading LibGuide has to do with the CSLP, or the Collaborative Summer Library Program. We've listed the links for early literacy, children, teen, and adults. We've also linked to the website itself, where you can see some summer reading papers, last year's teen videos, the summer reading champions, including the videos, and then the various programs. For example, if you click on the children's program, you'll be linked to a bibliography of the resources, for example, for Chapter 4, which opens in a PDF, where you'll find books and movies and web resources, all the things that you can use for summer reading. Back on the LibGuide, these links here in the middle section will also take you to those resources. There is a link to the Teen Video Challenge here on the left-hand side. They've changed their rules and made it a lot easier and more useful for programming during summer reading, as opposed to being done before summer reading. So take a look at that. As we scroll down, then you'll see that there's a more Summer of Space. Here we list many of these vendors and organizations, agencies that have created this fabulous content for this Summer of Space. I'm going to begin with StarNet, Science, Technology, Activities, and Resources for Libraries. And this you can use all year round, but they've designated 2019 the Summer of Space, celebrating 60 years of space exploration. And here under the STEM Activity Clearinghouse, they've created a section for University of Stories. When we go to Universe of Stories section, on these STEM activities, you'll see lists of activities. So for example, check out Jump to Jupiter. And if you participated at NASA at my library this spring, you experienced this activity right there in Grand Avenue in Laramie. We can open the activity. There were also links there on a how-to video. And here's the entire activity guide, including overview, type of audience, what you'll need for each group, how big your groups are, and then supporting resources, preparation, etc. So pretty comprehensive what they've provided you with each one of these activities. I'm going to follow the breadcrumb up here at the top left back to Universe of Stories activities. I want to point out on the right hand side of each one of these activities, they give you some information about content area, age group, time to complete the activity, and difficulty level. On the left-hand side, you can sort using a variety of limiters such as the age, time to complete, time to prep, cost, difficulty. So for example, I can click on teens and I want a 20 to 40 minute activity, and that will update my 83 items down to these 12. So these are the activities, there's how-to videos, and many of them have teacher's guides. Back to the StarNet page, if we scroll down past that STEM clearinghouse, We can get to the videos on the summer reading champions. But then we get down to some resources, such as some links to resources such as STEM activities, promotional items, printables, featured content, special websites. Under printables, you can find the Apollo mission insignias. So that might be fun to print those out, or if you're creating teams for an activity, they can be a different Apollo mission. And there's view all for these printable items. Under special websites, there's an Apollo 50th anniversary site. And here you can take a look at videos, photos, and Apollo audio. So for example, we can click on day 2.
11 Houston, the definition is pretty good on our monitor here. The color's not too varsity, at least on this set. Could you describe what you're looking at, over?
So what a great thing is to listen in on that Apollo 11 mission. Back on the StarNet site, if we scroll down even more, there are how-to videos. So again, there's that jump to Jupiter, lunar phases, all sorts of activities, blogs that you can connect to, and webinars at your disposal. Back to the LibGuide under More Summer of Space. There's a link to the Apollo 11, and you can see that there are videos, and there's images, other videos, and then look down the side here, you can see galleries and audio highlights. So again, getting access to that actual Apollo 11 video and audio. Below that is NASA at My Library, and we'll come back to the More Summer of Space. They are creating videos on Mondays in June. They've already done 2, and you can go back and watch those videos. There's also an opportunity to watch an anniversary of Apollo 11's historical moon landing on July 15th, and you can make that a public broadcast, and the information is here. So let's turn to one more organization that's worked with this theme, and that's PBS Books. One of the great things that they're offering is an opportunity for your libraries to watch Chasing the Moon. The only thing you have to do is screen it before they launch it on PBS. And here's the form that you can turn in and get permission, and the link to hold a viewing of Chasing the Moon. And now let's take a look at what some of our vendors have created. Beginning here with Novelist. There's a couple of places that you can look for information from Novelist. They've created this blog post, which includes summer search strategies using that CSLP theme, STEM fiction, crash course in science fiction, so if you're looking for more information about that particular genre, information on avoiding that summer slide, which is why we do summer reading, keep those kids involved in reading their books. And then there's some other information, search strategies, secret language of books, things like that. If you scroll farther down, they have promoting reader services, display book ideas, but they've included a super secret bonus tip. If you go into Novelist and type a universe of stories in the search bar and look at the lists of articles. So let's do that. We'll go into Novelist. And it says to go to Listen Articles once we've done our search. And you'll see they've created lists. So here we have a Universe of Stories Space Exploration, Universe of Stories Astronomy, Space Race, Aliens and Outer Space. But these first 2 lists were created specifically for Universe of Stories. You'll see that it's ages 9 to 12, nonfiction. And for some reason it's not loading well, but you can see all these various book titles. And you can link to Wildcat to see if it's in a library near you. The next one is Gale. They've created a couple of things in databases. Let's begin with what they've done in books for books and authors. They've created a banner that you can use, produce, print out, add your library logo to. They've also created some social media posts that you can use for adult children, tweens, and young adults. And I particularly love the adult one. Then if you scroll down, they've also included a Reading Under the Stars brochure. And this lists books for adult fiction, young adults, middle grades, and children. And you can print that out or use that to locate books in your collection or create that as 4 books in your own collection using that banner. Gale's also created some things for Kid Info Bits and Research in Context, including some solar system trading cards. And here's the activities and links to these trading cards that you can print out, double-sided of course, and share with the kids. They also have Research in Context and Research in Context Library Activity Guide for those trading cards. So for the older kids, the Research in Context for the older kids. Gale's also created a lesson plan on their website, and I've linked it here on the LibGuide, and that's for Kid Info Bits, so the grade levels, lower grade levels, called One Small Step. And it walks you through that lesson and activities and outcomes. Another really great resource here under Summer of Space is the Summer Health Programming Manual. This was created with a partnership of Collaborative Summer Library Program and the National Network of Libraries of Medicine. And you'll see on the table of contents, they talk about various activities and topics. Bubbles in space, your family, your history, your health, we're all made of stardust, and my favorite, food in space. So I'm going to scroll down here to page 16. To food in space, and this section is how they make meals in space. And it includes some fabulous videos. So for example, peanut butter jelly in space.
Hello everyone, I'm going to show you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the International Space Station. Every time we eat, it's kind of fun. Everything will float around if you don't manage it. So we have some tape to stick things on our table here, as well as a bunch of Velcro. Alright, so the first thing we need for our sandwich is a piece of bread. Well, up here we don't have bread like you do on Earth, but we have tortillas. So we use tortillas a lot for sandwiches. So that's what I'm going to use for my peanut butter and jelly. I'm going to stick that down to some tape here so it doesn't go floating away while I'm getting everything else ready. So I'll get my peanut butter out, and even the lids on the peanut butter have a piece of Velcro on it so they don't go floating away. If I let it go, it'll kind of just float there for a little while.
I think that's a really fun piece to add to the Summer of Space for adults or kids. I'm totally fascinated by how they create their meals in space and how they keep things from just floating around. And I'm amazed that the jelly just didn't float off the bread. I'm going to continue down here on our LibGuide to the GoWild.net resources to support this theme. And I've listed some specific databases and some suggestions for your use for that. For example, there's Discoverer, there's a subject tree, Britannica, a beautiful media browse. And below that, some links directly to those resources. So let's take a look at SIRS Discoverer. And notice that they're by subject, so I'm going to select Science. And this wonderful subject tree on the left-hand side that helps kids narrow their search. So I'm going to select Astronomy and Space. And now I can narrow it even more on my subject tree by going to comets or black holes, extraterrestrials, telescopes and mirrors. If I click on, say, planets, this will narrow our list down of our articles here down the center. It will give you grade levels and Lexile. On the left-hand side, you can also narrow by source type and sort Lexile high to low. The other one I wanted to show you is in Botanical Library. Clicking on Reference Center and go to this beautiful media browse. Here you're going to find images and video. So we'll select Science and Mathematics and Astronomy. Here we can narrow this down again to very specific things, constellations, dwarf planets. There's some wonderful images for star charts, our solar system, space exploration. And notice that as you narrow your search, it repopulates the images here on the right. Notice that you can narrow images or videos. And let's take a look at these results for astronomy. It also gives you the amount of time. Notice that some of the images or the videos are live images, or they've got short training videos. So for example, this one by Neil deGrasse.
The world has persisted many a long year, having once been set going in the appropriate motions. From these,
I can see a great use of those for programming for adults and for kids. So there's a great variety here under that Britannica media. The Wyoming State Library has also created some information for this theme, and that's under Services and Marketing Wyoming Libraries. And monthly marketing campaigns. June has been designated Reading Under the Stars. They link to this LibGuide we've been using. The tutorial will be here, and notice that they also link to the Reading Under the Stars poster that was created by the State Library and the Gale Universe of Stories web graphic as well. Our LibGuide. And just to remind you about the Summer of Reading program here at the top, more Summer of Space, GoWild.net resources, and here at the very bottom, examples of books, including ebooks and audiobooks. So remember that our RB digital collection also has some items. And then there's those two lists from Novelist. So I hope you'll be able to use these resources and for your summer reading or all year studying space and science. And always remember, keep looking up. Thanks for joining in. Bye now.